a lot of interesting governance, social stuff to go through this week. So I'm not stoked on it, but I know we got to do it. Focus for the week is PFP collection, karma, governance, Giveth, ETH Denver feedback, and what was another thing? Rewards, distro, assist, and thanks for the call. Oh, talk about product team transition, and the rest of the stuff that I threw in there as well. But I will pass it on to Griff because he's already unmuted.
Nice, thanks. I'm feeling pretty good. My focus for this week is fundraising and going to Porto for another conference, which is fun. And my intentions for this call are to just ensure that all of our call times are like clear and there's no conflicts for the rest of the year, rest of the week, and to get a multi-sig proposal passed. I'll throw it over to Lauren.
Hey, my intentions for the week are to support on the fiat release, test Chainvine, write a thread for the earthquake raise, talk about the Polygon update, make announcements for that. I'm also making a PFP blog post and so many other things, and all these little things that just like add up and take a billion hours. And I'm a little frustrated because the internet at the Giveth house kind of sucks. So I keep getting like disconnect from this call. And my intentions for the Gov call are, I'm excited about whatever juicy stuff Mish has to talk about, all these like social things. And then also I'm like kind of behind on pushing QF, but it's on my list and I'll pass it on to Heather.
Hey, thank you. My intentions, I'm feeling a little sick. I got what they call it, the Buffacron. Well, but it's not COVID anyways. And my intentions for this week is finalizing a potentially spicy forum proposal. And then also some general magic stuff around finding a CTO and working with Steve, our Twitter wizard, and that's it. And some HR stuff as well for our town hall. I feel like I'm talking too long, so I will pass it over to Corey.
Hey, I'm feeling pretty good. Coming back from vacation, and my focus for the week, so basically catching up from when I've been out, and also ETH Denver right before that. So I'm going to be spending a lot of time in the board, probably following up on things like the PFP collection, the Chainvine launch, and anything else that really needs my attention this week. And my intentions for this call is just to listen in and catch up on anything I should be focusing on in the forum. I will pass it to Santi.
Thank you, Corey. Welcome back. I'm feeling good today after a visit this morning to Giveth House. Focus for the call is to just catch up on anything related with governance, and focus for the week is the PFP collection launch and the Twitter space we're hosting on top of other PFP research tools that I'm doing. And I'll pass it to Jake.
Cool, thanks, Santi. Feeling a little overwhelmed, a little busy this week, like everybody. Intentions for the week would be PFP, shilling, earthquake relief, because we're in our last week of that. So everybody keep that in mind. March 20th. And then got some general magic stuff as well. Intentions for the call, like Griff said, we have some phantom multi-sig, as well as I just love hearing Mitch's jokes. So let me pass it along to, let's go with Potabe.
GM everyone. So I'm feeling really good. My intention for my focus for this week is going to be following up with some free contacts, a little bit of fundraising issues, and what else? Also GPS on the community group. And my intentions for this call is to sync up. And I'll pass it to, give me a sec. I guess Nicola is here.
Yes, thanks, Kutabe. Hi, everyone. Hey, it's so nice to see some of your faces when you turn the cameras on. Just saying, happy Monday, everyone. Yeah, so my focus for the week will be a lot around gravity. I do want to post reintroduction forum posts in the post and start a little bit of a discussion around this in general, and also focusing on this feedback session for ETH Denver, and definitely a lot of little things to catch up on. I want to catch up on a forum, and we'll see what else. It feels like just there's a lot of little tiny things coming up in a different area, so I'm still figuring out things, and I will pass it to Ashley.
Hey everybody, I am feeling super excited for this week. Finally feeling like back to my old self after ETH Denver. My governance focus for this week is Giveth distribution. I think that's governance, I don't even know anymore. And really just like knowing what is going on in the forum, so getting back active in the forum and getting back in contact with the people that I met at the booth in ETH Denver. My intentions for the call, just to see where my attention should be and to see all of you guys. And that's it. I will pass it to Michelle.
Thanks, Ashley. So I'm feeling good, excited for the week. My focus is on tab payments reimbursement and also ETH Denver reimbursements. And my intentions for this call is to think, listen, and see where I can participate. I'll pass it to Marco.
Hey, Rochelle. Hey, everybody. Thanks, Rochelle. I'm feeling good, and my intentions for is popping up in my Discord. I don't understand that. So I got used to Mitch sending these links to something that I click and I sign something, but now I'm lost. So yeah, that's that. And I pass it over to Mitch because I don't know who's next and I want to play casino here.
That's fine. We'll give it to Carlos.
Hey, thanks. Happy to be here, everyone. And looking forward to finally releasing Chainbind. I invite every one of you to test if you can. And yeah, here to listen also and see what's going on. That's it for me. I'll pass it to, let's see who's missing. Nick, did you go?
Oh, actually, no. Thank you. So I feel great. I'm happy. My focus for this week will be our upcoming Giveth HR Town Hall happening this week, and making sure we're all prepped for that. And also buddy calls. So it's almost at the end of the first quarter, so buddy calls will be happening soon, and other HR stuff, and also contributor support. My intention for this call is I'm gonna talk about something that I inserted in the agenda, so I'm gonna talk about it later. And yeah, I think that's it. No distractions. I'm passing it to Franco. Have you gone?
Thank you, Nico. And hey, everybody. I'm feeling good today. My focus this week is going to be distribution for the rewards, getting ready the distribution for to do it at the end of the week, hopefully. And yeah, intentions for the call is just catching up and see what's going on. and I'll pass it to Claire. I think you know, there you go.
Hi everyone, thanks Franco. Welcome back Corey, and get well soon Heather. Feeling okay, head's hurting a bit, but I'm happy to be here. Focus for governments this week is some GPS work with Communitas. I'm going to continue creating some automation for some metrics reports, quantification for praise, and my intention for this call is to make sure I'm up to date with Gov stuff. And I'm going to pass it back to Mitch.
Great. I think Almond.
Yeah, thank you. I'm feeling good, well rested. My focus for this week is PFP collection launch and minting party. Also, the Chainvine Twitter space, and other events that I need to catch up and organize, and set up the meeting for the community ambassadors rewards feedback. And intentions for this call is to sync with everyone, listen, and I'll pass it back to you, Mitch.
Maybe Mateo?
Yeah, thank you, Mitch. Hey guys, hope you have an amazing week. From my side, many things going on this week. We expect to release the Spanish version finally. We're working hard to get that going on Friday. Also, the release of the Mapper integration. I need some people testing that, so if you're interested, raise your hand. Yeah, many cool things going on the development side. So here to catch up and get in sync. Happy to see all of you and love you. And pass it to... Oh, I'm not sure if I'm the last one. I think I'm the last one.
We got Giantkin.
GM, I feel great. My intent for this call, Babe's going to keep up. Basics. For the week, obviously, is Overwatch. Oof. And I feel like going early because that way I don't have to look through this list and try to figure things out. But I think Mo hasn't gone yet.
No, thanks. I'm feeling good. My intention for this week is finalizing the project detail screen and curating the design, and some other stuff around there. And here for just to listen and sync up with everyone. Mitch, am I the last one?
I think you are the last one. Yes, we got it. Okay. Great. So let's move into some updates here. First thing I wanted to mention was maybe some of you saw in the forum that our Karma dashboard is up, but it's not very good. Let's see if this will actually load for us here. So there's an option there to like alias your Discord with your Ethereum address and your GitHub and all this stuff, and it spits out a score. But I've been talking to them because like there's like only 19 participants tracked, and a lot of them aren't even in the Giveth DAO. So something seems really broken, and I'm just giving you a heads up that I'm trying to fix it with the Karma team because, well, this doesn't look very great, to be honest. But you guys can find it here. And just giving you a heads up that I'm trying to work on it to make it better. Does anyone have any questions about that? Okay.
No, but I'll say thank you for trying to fix this.
Yeah, this isn't really what we paid for, so I'm going to try and make this actually useful. But anyway. Next thing after that, we just put up the payment I saw for Shell for January 2023. Looking at what we got left in the tank, though, I don't think we'll be able to cover the contributor reimbursement payment for the following month. So there's about 13.7 million left in there, and we're spending close to 7 million give. So we probably need to deal with that.
Is it possible to use the donations from the Giveth project?
You're quiet, Lauren. I don't know if that's just me.
Sorry. How about now?
Yeah, better.
Is it possible to use the donations that we've been getting to the Giveth project, like for at least like a couple of months? Do we even have enough funds? I haven't checked, but like we're doing this PFP collection, trying to incentivize all these donations with NICE. Maybe we could actually use those funds for a month. I know it's temporary, but
you wouldn't have enough for 1 month.
Also, there would be some like weird stuff happening with Giveback. So if we paid salaries with the money from that project, then people wouldn't be able to donate that give and get givebacks for it.
Well, don't think we should pay contributors and give. I was just thinking like we could, use the stables, but if we don't have enough, it's a moot point.
Yeah, you wouldn't. If we look at this, I think there's about 90,000 in there. This isn't the right number, but I think there's about 90,000 in that main multi-sig. So you'd maybe pay 80% of 1 month.
So we should do a gardens thing and give over, or? We should probably do a gardens thing to move some give over, but we could also, if we got tight, we could reimburse me with whatever tokens are in there instead of give too. Like it wouldn't be the end of the world. If we need to pad that month, So we need a solution for that month and the following months, right?
Probably need, at the rate that it's going, probably at least 30 million.
Oh my God.
At least to make it worthwhile. And I mean, it's a matter of what do you want, Griff, in terms of padding,
No, I think we just get the give tokens and keep the pattern. It's a lot easier than trying to make a new pattern.
Right. Okay. Okay.
So, Mitch, are you going to make a DAO vote?
Yeah, I can do that. We just need to pick an amount, basically. And we can try and do that on the call. Certainly, I think there's enough people here to decide. So looking at the last payment that Freshell is proposing, I think it's 7 million, 6 point something, 6.9. Assuming at the certain price, we get about 1.3 million a month from the token distro in there. So if we pull out 30 million, that puts us down to 40 million in the Give Garden, and that would get approximately 4 months and something at 30 million.
Super.
Does that sound good? Should we get more?
That sounds good for now. I think we should focus on revenue streams. I know we're working a lot on fundraising, but maybe May Gas, you are not muted.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. Oh, I was just that person who just joined in was unmuted. Revenue streams. What? Maybe we should take another look at our DAP and see if there's any way we can get additional funding that isn't just begging for more donations.
Sure. Sure. I mean, I'd love to keep pushing forward on GiveFi, but that's not going to happen for 9 months, 6 months.
So maybe let's move 6 months of Give from the garden at least 6 to 9 months, and like assuming that maybe after that point we can have GiveFi.
So that would be assuming we spend 7 to 8 million. Like if we look at the price drop,
and then maybe for Shell knows this about how much is being streamed to the NR Give every month.
It's 1.3 million.
Okay.
Yeah, I checked this before.
Cool.
So that would be around 7 million. That's around 42 million Give. 7 times 6. And then there would be a buffer there that we get from having the 1.3 million coming in from the token distro every month. That could potentially cover any price decrease. Then you'd be left with about 28 million in the Give Garden. I think the Give Garden gets about like significantly more. It's like 3 million or something every month from the token distro. Okay. Okay. So 42 million is the magic number. Okay, thumbs up from Lauren, good nod from Griff, some whatever. Okay, Sparkles, thumbs up, like it, good. Yikes. PFP minting party. I can talk about this here. We are doing a minting party for this PFP collection on the 23rd of March, right after the community call. It's going to be for people on the allow list. So all of you Givethers are on the allow list. So we've also invited our friends and family and partners to be on the list as well. And anybody who's donated more than $100 in stables to Giveth since, I think it was like June last year or something like that. I can't remember the exact date. So they'll be all invited to the minting party. People will jump in. We'll be able to mint the PFPs all together, and then we'll have a reveal of the artwork that will happen on the call. So that's the tentative plan. Just to answer your question, Marco, on that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Great. So Alman and Algene are working on the outreach this week for that, for our friends, family, partners, and all that good stuff.
All right. Hey, and how much money do I need to have prepared for that?
You'll need 70 DAI on mainnet.
All right. Cool.
Because the allow list people will get 30% off the actual price.
Awesome. Thank you.
Is there a date yet for the minting party?
Yeah, as I mentioned, the 23rd of March after the community call.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. And your other question, Marco, the multi-sig spam bot. Willie showed us this thing here. It basically just repeats a message and tags everybody as long as the multi-sig transaction is not signed.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a reminder bot that tags everybody and says, "Hey, we need to sign this."
All right, and so when I click on that one, it opens some sort of like a black page with something like it's not the Gnosis UI that I'm used to seeing, so it's something different.
It's like something in the app, and Willie, I guess, uses it, but I always just go straight to the normal Gnosis Safe UI and sign from there.
Okay, so does that mean you won't be sending these regular reminders of what we need to sign or what is up for voting or something like that? Did we replace that with this bot?
Like for this GRT vote, like Kai put a message in before. But if you think it's better, I can just keep reminding people. But it takes some stuff off my plate.
Yeah. I mean, if it's something we should get used to, it's okay. Just let me know. I'm gonna click on that. So
definitely, like what Kai did and Griff's doing, it's like when you make a multi-sig vote, it's probably good to have some context somewhere.
Yeah, because like when you click on, like even like in Discord, it says no description to like what the signing is.
Signing page.
It's nothing there. So, but like if you tell me, Marco, like it's safe to click on that, it's safe to sign that, I'm gonna do it. Otherwise, I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good to know.
Coming like a message to sign a multi-sig coming from a trusted member, it's more important to me than a bot, And so, I got used to that. Like, when you send something, I know I can trust that. I can click on it. I can maybe just take 5 seconds to read something, the title of the transaction or whatever. I don't even need to review the details because I just know I have to sign that. But if it's coming from a bot, it means I really need to spend at least 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes to read everything about this in order to sign the transaction, right? Especially then when it comes in like a new black UI that I'm not even familiar with. So, weird. And then I hit the close button and I'm gone.
Yeah.
So
that's a good point. Does anybody else feel that this bot thing's sort of weird? Would you rather that we just keep to doing like manual messaging and get rid of the bot, or?
I'm not saying we should get rid of. Sorry, I'm not saying we should get rid of that. Maybe I just missed when we had the transition, and I was just not informed about that. So if that's a new thing and we can trust the bot to click on that and sign a message transaction or whatever, that's fine. I'm just gonna adapt to that, right?
Yeah.
But I'm just checking out like what it is because I had no context.
If you're just using the bot as a reminder, you should be reading the actual page instead of the bot stuff anyway.
What do other people think? They're like whatever, or like
I think the font is kind of cool as like extra reminders, but I had the same feeling as Marco. Like I got a notification. I was like, what even is this? I thought we were going to integrate this, but it's like I didn't have the context. So I was just kind of, I commented, what is this sorcery? And I tagged him because it was crazy. But, are we, I was just looking for the channel right now. It would be nice if we had the multi-sigs pinned to the top of the multi-sig channel. I'm not sure if they already are. But because I can't find the channel because our Discord always confuses the out of me. But if we could go there, because I don't feel also safe using that UI like to sign transactions. It seems like weird to me and like semi-unsafe, but that's just instinct. I would rather go like directly to Gnosis Safe. So it's like the bot could be a reminder, but then if everybody knows like to just go to the pinned message to find the multi-sig, that would be a nicer.
There is the spreadsheet of multi-sigs pinned in there. So.
Oh, okay, cool. Sorry.
Yeah, that's helpful.
That's great.
Okay. Maybe there's some work to be done just to like allow it to provide more context, but I want to move on because we got a lot of stuff left to cover.
Thank you for that. All right.
Yeah. So speaking of that, multi-sig transactions, there's a few things here. The first one, sending the GRT tokens to DevOps multi-sig. I think that passed yesterday. FTM token sale. So Griff made a transaction. The tokens we got from the Gitcoin alpha round on Phantom need to be bridged. And some other stuff too you're working on, Griff?
Yes, I am just finishing the last transaction. It's there. And there were like 3 tokens, but they weren't in the multi-sig, but I found they were they were in the address. So I had to figure out how to send a token without. But anyway, there's 4 transactions sending a variety of tokens to an old Giveth donation address that didn't have any Phantom. My address had Phantom, so I just used this other address. the money that goes there, I will convert all to DAI and then bridge it to mainnet and send it wherever it's supposed to go. Where do you want it to go, Mitch?
Probably the main multi-sig so that we can make another deposit or spend it.
So I'll send it to
Ideally,
Give.
if we're not spending it, we're earning yield on it. So,
I'll send it to give.eth.
Yeah, then. I think that's the best.
So yeah, if I could get some signatures specifically, I think we have Mateo and who else is on this? To me, Mateo, Lauren, Mitch, Ashley, Marco, Monique, and Frischel.
Yeah, I just signed.
Yes, and there's 4 of them. There's 4 transactions.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. All right.
Excellent.
Great. There's another transaction there on the main multi-sig on Gnosis chain, and this is going to set up to allow the rewards DAO to send out Give tokens through the Give stream. So this should allow them to become a distributor and give them 3.5 million tokens to distribute. I work with Franco on this, and this should last well over a year for them to distribute rewards, and I guess he'll be in charge of remembering to top it up when it runs out. Amin reviewed this. Looks good. So that's what this one's doing here. So we can go ahead and sign those. In our Give DAO, there's one to vote here from Frischel, the core team compensation reimbursement for January. So that is up and ready to be voted on as well. We got a couple days, but let's just, it's already ready to pass, but cool. And I think that is it for things to vote on. So please, if you are here listening on that call and you are on that Giveth main multi-sig, take a few minutes and sign all the things so that we can just get it done. Next thing, Circles accounting and subdelification. So we're kind of working on this for a while. It was open for advice process, been up there for a little over 3 weeks. But I wanted to unpack some of these things, like Nicola and Lauren had some concerns we talked about last week, and then maybe a bigger can of worms would be a transition to product teams. So this is something that has been on the docket from people like Monique for a while. Gitcoin did it to some amount of success. Looks like there was a lot of drama involved, but yeah. So I can keep talking, or if anybody has like a strong case they want to make right now on the call, I'll give my voice a rest.
The big thing that I've experienced with Gitcoin specifically is when it's like these circles, it's like, it's kind of impossible to say no. It's like, oh yeah, we're going to fund product. Yes or no? It's like, no, let's not have a product. No, that's not really an option, you know? It doesn't make any sense to have DAO votes on whether or not we should have marketing. Of course we're going to have marketing. But it does, so it kind of puts us in like a weird situation. Like, if we want a different marketing team, does some other person have to create a competing proposal? Or what happens if we vote no? It's a really weird process. So I think what makes a lot more sense is having products, and those products having leads that kind of say what the product needs And like there's the DApp, and the DApp, you know, Monique is obviously the product lead of the DApp, and then there's, you know, the economy. And what's really cool about this process also is that it kind of gives space for someone to come up with a new product outside of our team. Like no one in Gitcoin is outside of the core team, and no one really in Giveth is outside of the core team. Like very few people are proposing ideas to build on Giveth, but if we had product focused work streams and governance processes, then someone could actually propose a product, and it could have legs, right? Whereas like no one's going to propose a second competing marketing stream.
Yeah, that's not. We had Giveth info. And we had the 2Blocks indexer. We have this Karma thing. We've got the Chainvine integration with about a 50% success rate.
Yeah. But what I mean is more for like the circles process for NRGive, you know, like big products. It's kind of like NRGive has like the big product stream. It makes a lot more sense to me than, it manages our circles. It's like, no, we're always going to need accounting. We're always going to need all of these things. We just have to like budget them within how they're supporting products.
Marketing, but how they fit inside of products. Okay. Interesting. So because what I saw, for example, when I was looking through this was like Kevin Olson comes in and says, I think we should end this working group and we need this other working group, or split it into other working groups that are focused on products. And it was like, I think we should stop funding this. And then the knee-jerk reaction was, oh, you're saying all of us should get fired, you know? And that was like a whole drama there. But it's like the process was, well, we're going to end your working group and you need to like proactively find out where else you're going to contribute within this new structure. And there was some people that stayed on and there was some people that didn't stay on, from what I understood. So would you say that? Go ahead, Griff.
Yeah, they ended. We voted no on DAO ops, which is like, well, obviously there's still DAO ops, right? But it's just kind of weird, you know, that you even have the choice of voting no on operations. You know, it's like, well, but the team was spending too much money, and Gitcoin was spending too much money, so we had to cut something. But it doesn't make sense to cut. The options of things to cut were marketing, operations, a couple of products, or what was it, like the public goods funding group? You know, it's like that does fundraising for them basically, and it's like it doesn't make sense really to have to vote yes or no on those things.
Mm-hmm. So based on what go ahead, Ashley. Go ahead. Sorry,
I'm just having a hard time visualizing exactly what it looks like. So it's gonna be like Giveth IO working group, and what other products do we have?
Well, like for example, we know that the rewards team is kind of like its own thing that can manage itself, and we know that the community outreach, you know, is kind of like its own thing that like could become part of comms, you know, rather than not really sure if it's community or comms, then like community just has like its own thing with like its own comms person in it. And GiveFi is its own thing, and maybe Chainvine is its own thing, and like imagine everything on the roadmap that we kind of like vote on and launch as like a product or a feature, like has people like assigned to work on it. That's what I would imagine.
It feels like it cuts everything human out of it, and it's like just pieces of software then at that point.
Well, they're kind of, but the problem is, I think for people like Monique is like, or a developer is like, okay, who's in charge of writing the copy for this? And then comms kind of like shrugs and says, good question, who's in charge of the copy? And then 3 or 4 people are in charge of the copy, and then it gets changed 5 or 6 times. So, and people don't know who the designer is. People don't know who the lead is. So it's like products and features are hard to like push out every time we want to add something because there's no clear point of coordination for people working on it.
Wouldn't that be the issue, the GitHub issue?
What GitHub issue?
Or like if
Like
somebody
who's
it's
assigned
like,
to it?
okay, we need to write a copy for this, then it's like the issue, and who's ever assigned to the issue is the lead on that, right?
But the challenge is the budgeting around it, right? It's like, okay, we want to launch this new product, QF. How much budget are we going to give to launch QF? Who's going to be on the team to launch QF? Who's going to write the copy? Like, who kind of forces us into some organization around that feature. And then when we actually understand what it costs, then it's like, well, yes or no.
Yeah,
And
but I don't understand why that budget for that thing wouldn't still fall under like the Give Economy working group.
well, there's a lot of overlap, right? The community needs to do work to get people, excited about QF, and marketing needs to do work to get people excited about QF. So it's about splitting it into budgets. Because if the community is like, no, QF, wow, what does it actually take to launch QF? How can they be informed about that choice? Does the economy group just send money to the marketing group? Like, it's like DAO governance as in to making it real,
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's hard to visualize for me at this point.
I'm kind of having this idea of like actually visualizing this as maybe we have a quarter plan, right? And we have an idea. Okay, this is what we want to do this quarter, and this is how we need to structure teams so that people are more connected. Maybe some people from Give Economy team and some people from communications get together and work actually more like in related package, like a group together to actually get some things, get the goal done for the quarter. And we know what's the budget for it, right? And so with this, maybe it's like a little bit of mixing and restructuring every 3 months or every half a year. But I see benefits in there, like people actually getting to know each other better and each other's skills better. And, like there can be a lot of actually benefits coming out of this. So this is something that I am just like seeing as I'm visualizing this new type of, structuring. I don't know.
Yeah, like I can see like there's some things that will always need to fund. Like we need to keep the main platform development going. And things like the community is like perpetual. The community working group just doesn't like stop. The job's never done. But the Give Economy working group is kind of like a collection of features and products. So it's like, imagine breaking that out into like granular things that we can like say yes or no to funding, rather than like sort of encompassing a lot of different things that are like maybe hard to manage under one roof, or like hard to vote yes or no on under one roof. So if you want to build a feature, then it's like, okay, what's your team? Who's in charge of it? Who's the comms person? Who's the designer? And then like we vote yes or no whether we want to like fund this team or this product to go forward.
Yeah, I think that we've seen that sometimes just with the forum and saying yes, it's hard to keep track in which the things get done or not. So I think that it would be a good way for us to follow through and keep track. Because, for example, in the PFP thing, it was like, okay, who's doing comms? Okay, me. But then it's like, I don't know. It's I think it's hard now in the way that's now to know who is doing what. For example, in the chain bind, it's the same. It's like who is going to do what thing. I know that I'm going to do Twitter space, but then I think that we're still missing kind of alignment and organization in the products that we're doing. Also, I'm kind of like not very sure who is in charge of what, like writing copies. I know that Lauren and I do most of the times, but then is there someone else that maybe we can ask or you know? So I think that in this way we will have more clarity of the organization of products on like the strategy, and then a stronger filter of this is actually going to be done or not. That sometimes I think that filter is missing. So I think it's a good way of organizing working groups or whatever now they're called.
Yeah, and you know, I want to just add that this is really focused on how do we manage our budget, how we structure ourselves as a crew. Like, there's a million ways to do that, but how do we actually ask our DAO to fund things is at least a question. The challenge I have when I think about funding through circles. Funding through circles puts us in a weird spot where basically the DAO can't say no. And that's not really okay, right? And it doesn't help us do any budgeting. And I saw it on Gitcoin, just like when they had money, they just spent it, you know, because there's no stopping them, right? Like, you can't say no to DAO operations until I finally just basically said, no, we have to spend less money. So which one of these is going to go? Because this is the governance process we have. And then we had to then Gitcoin had to let go of DAO operations, which doesn't make any sense. So, you know, that's my perspective, is like, we need to budget based off products. And so we should ask the DAO for funding based off of products.
And from what I saw as well, like some practices in the TC, for example, it's like you get a budget and that's like your mandate to operate for like a limited duration, right? You're asking for a budget on 6 months, and then it's like, you kind of like show what did you do with your last budget, you know, and then there's like an actual discussion happening when you're asking for money to build something or to like continue doing your work, instead of just like a blank check to like keep doing whatever it is that you do for years.
Maybe we could have both. Like, we have proposals budget for each product, and then, as what Mitch said, for those that for working groups or for work that is fixed, like DAO community, then we could ask for 6 months in advance budget, and that is what the working group will work on. So yeah, that's just my thoughts on that.
I think that the difficulty does arise from these sort of support groups that we have, communications. Communications is easier to quantify and to apportion. I think the only way we can get a better understanding of how to apportion some of our operations costs is by looking at them over the next few months. I think it will become a bit clearer if we have in our minds, as we are looking at these costs, which projects they could be apportioned to, and then anything that looks a bit difficult to categorize, we can then bring up for discussion at the sort of review each month. I think through going through this exercise, it's going to become clearer how we can allocate these costs.
Mm-hmm.
There aren't so many costs that are coming through, in fact.
I think the difficulty will be like our working groups. A lot of them, I imagine, are just going to like break off and form into like more working groups. Like the design working group might like just end up breaking up and then just having designers assign to all of the specific like products, you know? And the same thing with a lot of the comms people, like they'll be breaking off and like working on specific like products or working in community or like something like that, rather than just having like a monolithic comms working group that sort of does a lot of things, but without like any clear assignment a lot of the time. But yeah, so I'm kind of seeing that we're sort of coming around to a lot of different ideas and what I think we could do, and I was thinking a lot about this last week, is we basically need to take like a few months and like start a process of like building these working groups out into like products and features, figuring out what kind of budget they need and who's going to be on the team and what their goals are. So if you're asking for money, like what are you going to deliver, or like what are your targets essentially? So if you're delivering a product, it's like, well, we're going to deliver this product and it's going to do these things. But if you're like a continuous working group like community, it's like, what are your goals that you want to reach for this like section you're asking for? In the next 6 months, we give you money, and what are your goals, you know, that you want to hit? How do we move into that from where we are with this proposal in circles and like starting to do budgeting now? It's not quite clear to me. I think that it'd be good to have like somebody looking at the budget and like understanding how much we're spending where right now. And I think that can happen with these circle accountants. But then the idea is that like after 3 to 4 months, we figure out what these new quote unquote product teams or working groups are going to look like, and then basically pass the buck to them and not really operate within circles after that anymore.
Yeah, I agree on that. And I think that we should do this together, maybe have a working session every 2 months or something, because I think that if you just give that task to the people in the circles, it would be kind of messy, and then maybe we're not going to be aligned enough of what is really needed. So I think that in these 3 months or whatever process we decide to create the working groups and the goals and whatever, we should have some working session or something that just makes sure that we are all.
Sorry, Alman and I are playing the mute game, or at least I am. Yeah, I think that sounds really good, Alman, because yeah, definitely some guidance and like understanding like relatively how much we're spending where and how that would look in a newly formed product, I think will be super important.
And I think also just to add, like tying this in together with everyone, I think having a good sense of like a bird's eye view of all the things going on, like having a sense of like the overall budget and overall goals of the organization, and just being aligned on that, like quarterly or something like this, you know, every 3 months would also be really helpful, I think, especially for all the leads. To understand what's a reasonable budget to be asking for, and you know basically how to align with that.
Yeah, I think that'll be important when groups are asking for funding, that they have a mandate that's like a clear duration, and then what they're going to deliver within there. I think that'll like help us get a bigger sense of the goals. We got about 3 minutes left. I want to give some space for this last thing, but I also think this is really important. So I want to make sure we get everybody's opinion before moving forward. I'm going to try and write this out in a way that makes sense, and then we can keep debating it. But anything else from anyone on circles accounting? So, yes, Kotabi.
Maybe one other point that I will throw in there is I think it does make a good case for managing it through products, but maybe we could test it. And so maybe we can start like we're doing 1, 2, or 3 product-based budgeting, and then we'll see how it goes. We have some validation, and we see if we did some things wrong or how is it working basically?
Yeah, well, we'll need to like figure out the product teams and like what they actually look like. So that's going to take some time. But we do have some product teams already. Like I think the rewards is like kind of like a closed thing that's operating well, that came up on its own. And the community obviously is something that like will continue to exist. Okay.
Call me crazy, but I think it'd be kind of fun for the project teams to be like, hey, like we need some community support on this effort or not, you know, and have them also fund community efforts.
Sure. There's one more thing left here. There's a home office allowance draft proposal.
Yeah, I can take that one, Mitch. Just a minute. So yeah, hello guys. Regarding this one, I'm aware of the budget constraints that we're struggling with right now. But we have been receiving numerous questions about home office allowance. So I kind of drafted this one together with HR. So for people who are contributing full time in Giveth, and yeah, this is up for review for everyone. So I initially put all the idea for a home office allowance and eligibility requirements in there. So I'd like to invite everyone to read through, review, add a comment before we put this up in the forum. So just to point out the highlights of this proposal. So the allowance can be used for 2 years and it's replenished after 2 years. Eligible people are those only working for more than a year, and contributors working for less than 75 hours are not eligible for this one. So if you guys have more comments and if you can review this one, that would be appreciated. So yeah, after this call, if it's finalized, then we'll post it in the forum to gather more community feedback. So for now, initial review or feedback would be great. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Well, I think we got through everything kind of, sort of. And we're at the top of the hour. So if there's nothing left to say, everyone, then we'll say goodbye. Thanks for coming. Catch up next week.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank
you.
Thanks,
everyone. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.